Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Unruly here with some news on a supposed leak of Eddy Gordo, my husbando, my favorite character in Tekken. And so apparently there was this big Tekken press event in Brazil, and they said in this press event that Eddy Gordo was going to be in it, and we got the world's blurriest photo of supposed Eddy Gordo right there. It kind of looks like if Steve was at the event and he took a photo with his cell phone. That's pretty much what it looks like right there. It kind of looks like Eddy Gordo's flashy, his alternate costume. Also kind of looks like could be Miguel, but I don't know. It was on Reddit and some sources confirmed it. I'm cautiously optimistic because I went to E3 a while ago and I was told straight up, like, oh man, Eddie's not going to be in it. We have another character representing Brazil, and that's Catarina. And, it hurt my heart. It hurt my heart. I have a deep love for Eddy Gordo. And a lot of you guys out there might be like, man, what? Fuck Eddy Gordo, man. Like that kicking and butt mashing. I mean, alright. Eddy Gordo has always been mid-tier or less. A lot of people just hated how you can hit the kick buttons and do combos and all this stuff. But oh my god, if you just mashed buttons and you went up against a Tekken Pro, you would get demolished. I remember in the arcades, I would always main Eddy Gordo, and people would be like, yo, why do you ain't main Eddie? He's like mid-tier at best. And I'm going to do a special collaboration pretty soon with a awesome YouTuber, but that's a secret thing in the works. But it's going to explain why I love Eddy Gordo so much. And I'll tell you why in this video. Because in the 90s, I'll be here. You know what? Eddy Gordo was not the first capoeirista. It's kind of hard to say. Capoeirista in video games. I mean, that goes to Richard Meyer. Was the first. Then we go to Bob Wilson. And then we go to Eddy Gordo. So, before I say anything else, those are the, capoeiristas that were before Eddie. But in a time in video games in the 90s, there were so many just tropey black characters or characters of African descent in the games, man. Like, you got generic boxer, man. And then you always had, hey, you know what? If he's not a boxer, he's a kickboxer. And a lot of them were kind of silly looking. Like, DJ's one of the best characters in the old school Street Fighter, Street Fighter. But, man, he was just so hokey. And then comes Eddy Gordo and blows my mind, man, because I'll be honest, I was never that much of a huge SNK fan. The games are great, but they just weren't my cup of tea growing up. But that's why I didn't know too much about Bob Wilson and some of the other guys. But along comes Eddy Gordo in Tekken 7 and just destroys it, man. He's not a hokey character. He's a badass. His story is amazing. He uses capoeira, which is a Brazilian martial art of African descent. They used it to free themselves from slavery. It's fucking awesome, man. It just, as a time growing up as a kid and, going to arcades and seeing him just made my heart happy, man. Capoeira is such a cool martial art. It's acrobatic. It has so much history to it, and it just connected to me with a kid, man. Like, I didn't always have locks. I have locks for two reasons. One of them is Eddy Gordo, and the other reason is for my late uncle, man. He rocked them, and he looked rad. And then I'm like, Eddy Gordo's like, that's it. I'm getting dreadlocks. I'm doing it right now. Doing it. I'm gonna turn myself into Eddy Gordo. Man, and just this news, I don't know. We'll see. I am constantly refreshing my feed, waiting for a trailer, waiting for confirmation to come out. I would put it at maybe 30% reality that we get Eddy Gordo in Tekken 7. I just think he's, for a while, because of course he was button mashing character, but for a while he was like the #1 used character in arcades, because fuck it, man, he's cool, man. He just rocks the Brazilian colors. He has an awesome acrobatic martial art that was just cool to see, and it was amazing. Tekken 7 brought it to life. Like, Eddie, he was dope, man. When he came out, he had some attitude, and he was like, Bam! And I cannot wait to start working on this video. I'm going to collaborate with an awesome YouTuber, and we're going to do some. We're going to do a thing about Eddy Gordo. And I just can't wait to talk about more about why I love this character, his story, his background. You know, the only thing is just he's not a real person. I can't marry the guy because I would just totally marry the good dude. He's awesome. You know, he's just, to me, oh, there we go, lost the camera's focusing on me. He just, for me, he broke that just trope of African American characters or just black characters or characters of, African descent just being kind of silly and hokey. You know, I mean, Balrog was cool, but he was basically Mike Tyson. DJ was the the maraca playing kickboxing guy. And then Eddy Gordo has just some flair, and then later on he comes out with some awesome stuff. Basically, this is just a love letter to Eddy Gordo, and I'm really excited. I hope he comes out. A lot of people guys, if you hate Eddy Gordo, if you hate playing against Eddy Gordo, block low. Most of his attacks are kind of lows. They're easier to see. He is mid-tier at best. I've been trying to watch a lot of tournaments. I haven't seen him win many. I've seen him in tournaments and some high-level players play him. And I remember one of my happiest moments is when I went to Comic-Con for a while, and I got to play against SD Tekken, and I got to see some amazing Eddy Gordos back there. But this was a while ago, man. This was like 6 years ago or something like that. And man, when they would have like little Tekken setups in the back room and stuff. But man, it's just a character that just came into my life and forever changed it, man. Like, for just he's such a badass, and I'd love for him to be in this game. I know a lot of people hate him. I know I see a lot of the comments out there, man, like, man, fuck Eddy Gordo, fuck Beverly Hills Cop, I got money too. But no, man, I'd really love to see him in this game, man. It was such an honor for Namco to bring in Capoeira and Tekken, a game with all these amazing martial arts, Jeet Kune Do and Karate and Muay Thai, and to have Capoeira represented in a game that is based on real life martial arts made my heart happy. And I would love to see Capoeira come back and be featured in this game. And I know some of you are like, why not Christy? Because Eddy Gordo was first, and and he represented Brazil. I'll give you a long answer of why I love Eddy over Christy, but that's about it, guys. I'm excited. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm hoping this is true. I was told a while that it's like, man, it's gonna be another Sabat. It's gonna be I believe the new martial arts that Brazil's gonna be representing. And man, it's I'm hoping, man. I'm refreshing. If somebody trolled, you kind of got me. I'm about 30 to 40% thinking it's true. So we'll see, man. If you want to see, if you see a grown man get sent to the hospital for too much hype, then Eddy Gordo trailer dropped, and that was me reacting. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If Eddy Gordo does come out, and there will be a reaction video, I'll have Steve here or somebody with a defibrillator. But alright, guys, that's been my explanation of why I love Eddy Gordo and this little bit of leak stuff that came out. It's been featured in a couple of websites, so we'll see. Cross your fingers, knock on wood. Alright, guys, peace.